All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to start with our toe lifts. Think about keeping your knees pretty straight. We're just going to use those muscles on the fronts of our shins. Good. 8, 7, 4, 3, heels up both at the same time. We're going to start to add an open and a close at the chest. So belly's in. We're starting to work on bracing our core, and we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together. 2, hands lightly behind the ears. Good march. Again, ribs are tucked. We want to think about belly's in, just trying to lift those hips. And for anybody that did the class, the Tabata with me yesterday, I feel my thighs. 4, 3, hamstring curls, tricep press it back. I can definitely feel my quads and the fronts of my hips from those leg lifts that we did. Good. 4, 3, hands behind the ears, going back to our march. We're going to start to wake up the spine, add a little bit of a rotation. Again, if you don't want to rotate, you're just going to hold a nice wide march. 4, 3, back to our curls, and really want you to think big arms. So reach and pull, almost like you're trying to clap in the front and clap in the back. Don't force it, but just make the movement big. 4, 3, all right, side step, tap it in. Add a nice good reach and pull. We're gonna bring it up a little bit higher. 4, 3, 2, tap it out to the side, reach it right to the front. We've been focusing on the pulls and the backs. Now we're reaching, adding a little push. 8, 7, 4, 3, reach the arms up overhead, a little bit of a side bend. Hips stay down, ribs are lifting up towards the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, all right, deadlift right in the center. So feet hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. So rotate the pelvis, lift nice and tall. Hinge, 2, lift, 2. So if I turn sideways, you can see my spine is staying nice and neutral. I'm hinging forward, a little soft bend in the knee, but I'm not physically trying to bend them and sit. 1 more. Good, slow squat right here. Now we're sitting our hips back. We add more of a knee bend. Torso stays a little bit more upright. I have hands on my hips. You are welcome to put them wherever is comfortable for you. And I can tell classes today are going to be fun because I am definitely feeling those thighs. I know they'll feel better once I'm warmed up, but they're definitely a little tight today. 1 more. All right, forward step. We're going to lunge. So forward and back, forward and back. So we're thinking about a step forward and trying to drop the back knee down towards the floor. You're welcome to go slower. Keep it here, forward and drop. So if you need to go a little slower, go for it. There's 4, 3, 2, step it out to the side, take it out and hold it here. Side to side lunge, a little bit of an inner thigh stretch. We're working on those hips. Good. 8, 6, 4, hold it in the center, cat-cow. Inhale, exhale. So think about open the chest, and then we're going to tuck. So open, tuck. 1 more. Good, bring it up into the center. We're just going to take those arms, and we're going to do our shoulder circles, nice and big, reaching up and back behind you. So thumb up, rotate, pinky down towards the floor. 2, let's change direction. So circle it to the front. We just did the backstroke. Now we're doing a front crawl. Out and around. 3, 2. All right, let's take it down to a plank. So we're going to hinge it, step it back into a plank. Hold it here. You can use a chair for this one. We're going to do a down dog. So down dog and then plank. Down dog and plank. Little hamstring stretch. Down dog, plank, down, and plank. So when I say down, it's down dog, but we're lifting our hips. One more. Good, let's walk it all the way back up to standing. No judgment how you get there. We're gonna come into the center. Feet hip width apart. We're gonna do little bounces. So we've already warmed up our ankles. You have the option to do some jumping today. If you don't want to do the jumping, this is one of the things that you can do. But we want to make sure those ankles are nice and warm. If you're ready to add a little jump, you can. 4, 3, march it out, shake it out, roll the shoulders. Grab yourself a quick drink of water. So today, what we're going to do is we have 4 circuits. 2 are cardio and 2 are strength. We're going to do cardio, 30 seconds work, no rest, 3 exercises, 3 rounds. And then we're going to switch to strength, 3 exercises, 45 seconds work, 15 seconds rest, and 2 rounds. So for example, speed freaks, shuffle with a touch. So you're going to shuffle and touch, shuffle and touch. Second exercise, 2 jacks, 2 tap backs, or 2 jacks, 2 hop switches. Last exercise is we're just gonna jump. This is our last exercise, is to just jump. But we're gonna do 30 seconds work, starting with our speed freaks in 3, 2, and 1. So speed freaks, it's a shuffle, reach for the floor. Shuffle, reach for the floor. If you don't wanna shuffle, you're gonna do double touch, reach for the floor. So just kind of getting that side movement. I do want you to try to reach for the floor even if you don't touch it. I want you to think about a squat. So reaching for the floor is not bending over. Reaching for the floor is sitting your hips back into your heels. Good. All right, we're going for 2 jacks, 2 jumps. So jack, jack, tap, tap. So this is your low impact version. Good. Jack, jack, tap, tap, or jack, jack, switch, switch. So out, in, front, and back. But keep it low. This is your low impact. Out, out, tap, tap. All right, just jumps right here. So jumps, just like we did in the warm-up. Notice my knees. I'm staying soft the entire time. I'm not going up and then trying to land with a locked knee. If you don't want to jump, you're going to do little heel lifts, like you're trying to jump, but somebody glued your feet to the floor, and only your heels can lift. But if you can jump, then we can do this. You also use those arms. Good. All right, we're going back to speed freaks. Back to speed freaks. So we have 3 rounds all the way through. So remember, you can go low impact. You don't have to do the side shuffles, but I encourage people to give it a shot. Just remember, you kind of have to go for it. If you're trying to go a little higher impact and you're trying to shuffle and you're just like, oh, maybe I'm gonna do it, make sure you're picking up your feet so that you don't accidentally trip over your own feet. Good. 2 jacks, 2 jumps. Jack, jack, tap, tap. If you want to take it higher impact, it's 2 jacks, hop switch, jack, jack, switch, switch. Keep it low impact. We tap it to the back. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we just have our jumps. So we just jump. Soft knees. Remember, it can be just a heel lift. This is okay. Just our heel lifts. So just think it's a little bounce. So imagine you're on a trampoline. You're on a trampoline. You're trying to get that momentum going. If you want to go higher, you absolutely can. You're going to end up going a little deeper as well. But if you need to, heels up, heels up. 2, 1. Last time, speed freaks. Last time, speed freaks. So shuffle, reach for the floor. Or double touch, reach for the floor. I'm having a hard time getting my rhythm going today. I think I finally got it. It only took like 3.5 minutes. Good. 10 seconds for this. Good. 4, 3, 2. All right, in the center, jack, jack, tap, tap. So it's kind of skiing, or 2 jacks, switch, center, switch, center. Good, keep it low impact if you need to. I think my roommate's still asleep. So, trying to keep it low. 5 seconds, 3, 2, and 1. Heels up, heels up. So lift and lift. So if you want to add in the jump, add in that jump. So why do we do this? Bone density. If you don't want to do the jumps, I want you to stomp your feet. I want you to get that impact in there. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, march it out, shake it out, walk around. Grab a quick drink of water. We're gonna go for our strength intervals. 3 exercises, 45 seconds work, 15 seconds rest. And I only did 4 rounds and we need 6. All right, we're gonna do a squat with a clean, which is a squat curl to press. Then we're gonna do a lunge, and I want you to try to do a high front raise. And then we're gonna do a single leg deadlift. So, I'm gonna do round 1 right, round 2 left. So just keep that in mind. So round 1 is right side, round 2 is left side, squat clean, 45 seconds in 3, 2, and 1. So squat clean, what does that mean? For a lot of us, it's a squat curl to press. And again, I'm going ahead and doing all one side. I really want to focus on this. For some of us, we can do our squat and it's more of a clean. It's just a technique thing. If you're doing the clean, you are 100% running that dumbbell right up your body. So nice tall chest, you're painting your shirt. So good squat, bring it in. That was not a good one for me. Down, lift. 10 seconds. Two, and 1. All right, 15 seconds rest. We're gonna do a lunge, and I want you to try to do a high front raise. High front raise, what does that mean? Lunge, front raise, try to get your arm all the way up overhead. Good, so right here. So option 1, lunge, and I want you to bring it all the way up. Lunge, all the way up. What we wanna watch for, take it down. We don't wanna bring it up and let it go way back there. And we don't wanna bring it up and open our tummies and push our hips forwards. If your arm stops here, that's where you stop. I want you to work on technique. Shoulders relaxed, palm is facing in, lunge, good lift. We're working on some shoulder mobility here in addition to strength. Good. Got about 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, B stance deadlift, also known as a kickstand deadlift. Again, I'm focusing everything on my right arm and right leg. So good B stance. Hold your dumbbell close to your body, 2, and 1. So I'm hinging and I'm bringing it up. So nice good hinge, nice good lift. My spine does not round at my chest or at my low back. If you feel like you're stretching your back, you're probably rounding. So we want to keep it nice and tall. I know it's kind of hard to see, but my dumbbell is literally going straight down and straight up because of how my body is moving. I'm not letting it rotate. I'm not trying to put it out in front of me. I hinge, my dumbbell goes down to the side of my foot. I stand up nice and tall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back into the center, 15 seconds rest. We're gonna go through those 3 exercises again. We're gonna start with our squat clean or our squat curl to press. Again, I'm switching sides here. 4, 3, 2, 1. So nice good squat, bicep curl, overhead press. This is a little bit more of a shoulder safe variation because you can see my elbow is stay pointing forwards and I'm just doing a hammer curl into a press. If you can, if your shoulders will let you, wider stance. Run the dumbbell up your chest so it's palms facing you, and then you tuck yourself under to show me your nails. It's a little different. Good squat, but this is still a lot of leg. So use that leg, power you up. I am not amazing at these. So if you're like, ooh, your technique might not be great, I know, I'm working on it. Good rest. We all gotta start somewhere, right? So you just find a way to do this without hurting yourself. That might mean curl to press. All right, lunge, full front raise, 2 and 1. So good lunge, bring it up, nice and tall. So imagine your arm is against a wall and you've got to keep it touching the wall the entire time. So you want to think you're running the back of your hand. You start here, you run the back of your hand up the wall until it's up and overhead. Drop it down, lift, reach it up, slow and controlled. I know I have a little bit less control in my shoulders. It's one of the reasons we do things like this. I've got 10 seconds. Good, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, B-stance deadlift, also known as a kickstand deadlift. So weight is in your front leg. We're kind of in that little kickstand position, but all your weight is up here. It's not in your back foot. Chest nice and tall. We're gonna hinge it forwards, and then we're gonna stand. We don't wanna feel like we're pulling with our back and our shoulders. It's a hinge back. And then I want you to think you're lifting and pushing your glutes forwards. That's naturally going to open up that crease in your hips. So we hinge it forwards, push through your entire foot, squeeze the glute to open the hip joint. Hinge it and lift. A lot of times we're like, I gotta get to the floor. We take it down and we let that shoulder drop. Don't let it drop. This is core because we are pulling the shoulder down and back. We're opening up that chest. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Shake it out. Round 1 of strength is done. Getting ready to do round 2 of cardio. So switching back to our wonderful 30 seconds of no rest. We have a half skater. Half skater. What does that mean? A normal skater is here and here. A half skater is out, right back to the middle. Out to the middle. Second exercise, star jacks, squat with a leg lift. Last exercise, plank walkout, 2 knees, walk yourself back up to standing. You can do this at a chair, you're golden. But half skaters, 30 seconds in 3, 2, and 1. So 30 seconds, half skater. So take it out to the middle, out to the middle. And we don't want to just jog it, that works too. But I really want you to think out, pause. So we're only doing half of a skater, all on one side. Step it out, lift. Step it out, lift. I want that pause because I want you to hold your balance. Sometimes when we lose our balance, it's not just about catching our balance, but also maintaining it. Good. All right, star jacks. Down, lift, down, lift. Watch my hands. I'm not just flinging them up there. Open. Backs of the hands reach towards the wall. We're working back of the shoulders here. So down, lift. It's okay if we're not doing big, and it's okay if we're just doing a toe tap. If you don't want to do a lift, you don't have to. On the lifts, no leans. All right, bring it in. Plank walk out, 2 knees. Walk it out to a good plank. Knee, knee. Walk yourself back up to standing. If you don't want to go to the floor, find that chair. So you're just going to have your hands on the chair. Walk yourself out, 2 knees. Walk yourself back up. Here's 2 and 1. Bring it all the way back up. We're gonna do our half skater, half skater. So out, hold, out, hold. So really think like you wanna do a full skater, which is what we're gonna do in round 3, but half, lift, half, lift. Now you can just tack it over and tap, tap and lift, but I want you to try to get that cross. 3, 2, and 1. All right, Star Jacks, little squat, lift. You can just toe tap it. You don't have to do the lift. We're working those hips. Don't let the toes go out to the corner or let your body turn. Hinge. Want you to think toes, knees, hips, and toes point to the front the whole time. Got a lot of side movement today. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Plank walkout, 2 knees. So walk yourself out to a good plank position, shoulders over wrist, knee drive, walk yourself all the way back up. Again, you've got those options. Take it down, step it back, knee, knee, step it forward, stand tall. Take it back, lift, lift, take it forward and tall. 4, 3, 2, bring it all the way back up. Full skaters, both sides, all the way. Skater, skater. So you should be able to kind of feel the difference between these 2 exercises, doing the half and the full. So we take it out and then the other leg goes all the way out. Bigger range of motion. If you need to keep it low impact, we're right here. Big arms, big legs, high heart rate. Here's 2 and 1. Here we go. Down, tap, down, or again, add in that lift. And it's not a huge squat, but bring it up and back. So you're celebrating. Up and back. Backs of the hands are trying to touch the wall. So nice, good lift. If you want to take it up, out and in, out and in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Plank walk out, 2 knees. This is our last set. Then we're gonna go down to the floor for our last set of strength. You do not have to go to the floor. Remember, you are always welcome to modify using a standing exercise. We've got 10 seconds. We're gonna grab a drink. We're gonna grab a couple of weights. We're gonna head down to the floor. 3, 2, and 1. All right, give yourself a little break. You can walk yourself back up. So we're gonna do 45 seconds work, 15 seconds rest, 3 exercises, 2 rounds. We're gonna do a prone tricep kickback. What does that mean? Hands and knees. If you don't wanna go down to the floor, stay standing, do your tricep kickback standing. You're good to go. Second exercise is push-ups. You don't want to do push-ups, you can do incline push-ups, banded chest press, dumbbell chest press on the floor if you do want to be on the floor with us. Last exercise is a low back extension, snow angels. If you're staying standing today, seated, and again, remember, we're not here when we do a seated or a forward folded exercise. We're here, we hinge. I want you to lift, and I want you to start to work it forward, but don't let your arms drop. So for some of you, that range of motion might be a whopping 2 inches, but I want you to focus on the squeeze and trying to do a good reach. So let's take it all the way down. Again, I'm doing hands and knees and I'm doing single-sided triceps. You are welcome to stay standing and do both at the same time. 45 seconds in 3, 2, and 1. So just nice, good 45 seconds. Hold a good position, kick it back, and bring it in. So check your tummies, check your backs, make sure we're not arching our low back, but make sure we're not here. And this is when I tell my students, if you've got a mirror, use your mirror. If you don't, have somebody take a picture. Record yourself if you don't want anybody else to see it. But I really want you to think about your body position, and I want you to work on kind of feeling if you're rounded or if you're arched. Good, 10 seconds. A lot of times if I start feeling pain or discomfort when I'm doing an exercise. Good, 3, 2, and 1. Short rest. A lot of times, sometimes it's just fatigue, but sometimes it's because I'm not holding my core where I should, and the muscles are getting tired because they're not doing what they should or doing too much. All right, we're gonna go for push-ups. You can do a chest press. I'm perfectly fine with that. Your time is on, so 45 seconds. Shoulders down, brace your core. Take it forward, lift it back up. Take it down and up. If you watch your elbows, if you have your elbows really close to your body and have them pointing back to your hips, you're gonna get more triceps. Shoulders are still down. If you take your elbows a few inches away from your torso, it's a little more chest. We don't ever wanna have our elbows straight out to the side like this when we are doing push-ups. Always down at an angle. It's gonna keep your shoulders safer. And that same rule applies if you're doing chest presses. So we don't wanna have them straight out to the side. Good job. We're gonna take it all the way down onto our tummies. We're gonna do a tummy snow angel. Tummy snow angel. So I tuck my toes under, I squeeze my glutes. Doesn't have to be a lift at all, but I want you to squeeze your shoulders, hover your hands. We're gonna take it out and we're gonna pull it back down again. If you wanna lift, great. You don't have to, but the same rule applies. If you're lifting, we're not leaving our hands low. If we're lifting, reach it up and out, pull it down, but you don't have to lift. But I want you to try to keep your hands hovering the same height above the floor. Reach it out and growing into a Y and to a W, or I call this VW, Volkswagen. Take it to a V, pull it back to a W. V and W. 3, 2, and 1. Little rest, hands under your shoulders. We're coming right back up. Hands and knees position, going for our tricep kickbacks. Again, if you don't want to do hands and knees, it's not comfy, a skull crusher works. Good, your time is on. So upper arm parallel to your torso. Again, we don't want to round our spine. We don't want to open our shoulder back behind us. Torso and hips are parallel to the floor. I keep my pinky touching the end of my dumbbell, so I'm not fully centered when I do these. It helps me use my hand to press against the head of my dumbbell, and it helps prevent me from kind of cocking my wrist. So sometimes what happens is we do our extension and then we cock our wrist down. You want to keep it nice and neutral, just like you've got a brace on. Kick it back and bring it in. Kick it back and bring it in. 2 and 1. Good job. We're going to go back for our push-ups or chest press. Incline push-ups are amazing. I actually like incline push-ups better than knee push-ups, truly. Good, 3, 2, and 1. So shoulders down. Reason being, knee push-ups, they work. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But they don't necessarily translate well to doing a push-up on your toes. So if that's ever a goal, start with incline push-ups on your toes and then work your way down. Stairs are a great way to do that. So if you have access to stairs, you start on a higher stair, get good at doing your push-ups, and then you work your way down to the next stair. Because push-ups on your knees work, but they don't always incorporate your core and your quads and your lower body like a toe push-up does. Good, short rest. We're gonna take it all the way down onto our tummies. And you can do a low back extension or hold it in a nice neutral position. You can even put your mat rolled up under your forehead. So squeeze your glutes, protect your low back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Find that height. Hold that height. Take it out and pull it back. You don't have to go fast. Hold it here, count to 3. Find your far position, hold it, count to 3. Pull it back, count to 3. Treat this like a therapy exercise, not a cardio one. This one's harder than it looks if you do it really well. 10 seconds. Keep breathing. You know we're on our tummies. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Little rest. Shake it out. If you're standing, you can walk it around. If you're standing, or if you're on the floor, you can hang out on the floor with me. And that is almost perfect for what I thought we'd have for time. I'm kind of happy about that. So if anybody ever wonders, our actual workout is usually about 24 minutes in length. That's like the perfect amount of time to get us a warm up and a cool down stretch. So you ever know if we have a short workout, it's because I could not do math when I was writing the workout. All right, shoulders down and back, hands by your hips. We're just gonna do our 90-90s. So you can do this hands by your hips, you can do this sitting in a chair, you can do this with straight legs. I'm gonna do some without holding on. This is gonna get my core a little bit more as well. There's 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. We're gonna take both legs over to the right. And then what I'm going to have you do is find a comfortable position for this front leg, and I'm going to have you turn towards your back leg. Turn towards your back leg. Good, bring it in. Now we're going to turn over our front leg, and I want you to squeeze the glute on your back leg and work on pushing that hip forward. So it's not hip is here and we're rotating. I really want you to try to imagine you're rotating from your hip all the way up to your shoulders, and then you have the option to add a little bit more torso rotation. Again, osteoporosis, we don't do that one. We just rotate and we do a nice good hip squeeze. Let's release, take it over to the other side. Same thing. So we start with our 90-90. You find the position that you can hold, and then we're going to turn towards our back leg. I use my hands to kind of help me a little bit. And I feel this one less on this side than I did on the other one. I feel it a lot more when we were on the other leg. Good, bring it in. Now we're going to add a little rotation, but it's a glute squeeze. So we're trying to keep that straight line from our shoulder down towards our knee, and then optional, add the torso rotation. But we're not doing a rotate and back and a rotate and back. We're doing a solid holding stretch here. In 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. We're going to flip it over onto hands and knees. If you need to come to standing at this point, please do. Sit your hips back towards your heels, reach those arms out. If you want to stay on the floor, but you're like, I can't do this one like this, try having your hands on a chair, but you still want to think about keeping the arms straight, keeping your spine neutral, and dropping your ears between your elbows. So if you had a chair, it would be here, arms are still straight, and we're still sitting our hips back and dropping the ears between the elbows. A good way to kind of test it is to have your elbows actually on the seat of the chair versus having them out like I do. But sometimes it just feels a little bit better on your knees. It's a little bit less of a deep stretch, and sometimes that just works better for you if your shoulders are a little tight or kind of sketchy. Good, let's go ahead and bring it up to hands and knees or standing position. We're just gonna do some hip circles. So variation of cat-cow. And let's change direction. And again, you can just do some side-to-side hips if you don't want to do the low back movement. Good, bring it in. We're going to take our right leg out in front, half kneeling position. We're going to tuck our tail, squeeze our glutes, and we're just going to do a little forward back push. If you're standing, lunge position. Lunge position. So you just won't have the knee on the floor, but we're still tucking, we're still squeezing. Good, one more. All right, now we're gonna take this front leg and we're gonna open the hip out so it can be corner or it can be out, but don't let your body turn. And we're just gonna go out, and you can out and hold, or you can go out and in. An option, if you're standing, for those of you, you can do like a warrior. It's gonna do the same thing, less pressure on your knees. So we're just kind of getting a little bit of inner thigh and hips. If you've got tight hips, this is a good one to do. Release, bring it in, switching to the other side. Tuck your tail, squeeze your glute, press it forward, release to the back. And I definitely feel this. I was apparently very mean to my hip flexors yesterday. My goodness. I knew it was gonna be sore, but I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. But to be fair, the 2 exercises we did both really worked on those hip flexors in that lower core area. Good, last one. All right, same thing. Keep the tuck, keep the squeeze. You can open to the corner, you can open out to the side. So we're just going to think about doing a nice good press out. And this is when we don't want to lean forwards and let our knee do weird things. Imagine you're holding a dumbbell right here. Nice good hold. So we're trying to tuck and squeeze. It's a lot to think about. 4, 3, 2, bring it in, take that leg, bring it back around to the front. You're gonna come all the way up to a standing position, thumbs pointing forwards, roll your shoulders up, back, and down into your back pocket. Good. Gears to shoulders, side to side, shoulders nice and level. Bring the head up, look to the right, look to the left. Bring it in the center, palms facing forward, big breath in, pat yourself on the back. Exhale, reach the back of the hands towards your low back or your shoulders. So this is another one like we did on the floor. Imagine your hands are running up and down a wall and you're trying to keep them touching the wall the entire time. A lot of times for most of us, we get to about here and then we start coming forwards. I want you to try your best to keep the hands back. Maybe you don't come all the way up. Good, bring it in. We're just gonna take a couple deep breaths in. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. Exhale. One more time, big breath in and out. And you are all done.